Hello guys, good day. No, welcome back for another lecture. Actually, this is our first lecture on the subject matter question document examination. No? I will be introducing to you what the subject is and let's talk about some of the pertinent parts, no? Or pertinent topics that you are supposed to encounter in the subject matter. No? Uh, So this is part of the lecture 1 on the subject matter. We have here several topics that we will be covering for this specific lecture. No? We have here, we are going to define what is document. We are going to define also what is a question document. And we're going to talk about what is question document examination and also the process in the conduct of scientific method or in the process in conducting scientific method of examination. Then lastly, we have classes of question document examination. Classes of question documents. Yan. And then classes of disputed documents. Yan. So edit ko lang to. Okay, we have a module for this. No, I'm currently preparing to you the module for this, but for those who are interested, I'm currently using the book of Sir Jonas Arabejo Gonzalez. No? Ito yung forensic question document examination niya. Actually, matagal na to. I don't know if my new revision for this book, but if you're interested, no, you could purchase a copy of the book of Sir Jonas Gonzalez. Okay, without further ado, let us jump right into our discussion for today. So first thing that we will be discussing is we need to define what is document. No? So we have the definition right there below. We have here a document is any material which contains marks, signs, or symbols which are either visible or invisible, or partially visible or invisible, that presently or ultimately convey a meaning or message to someone. So there are things that we should take into consideration when we are talking document. So it is a writing. It is a writing, and when we talk about writing, it's either it's a mark or a symbol or anything. No? Basta it is a writing. Then it could be either nakikita mo siya, visible, or partially visible, because there are those writing that are not visible yet, no? But if you are going to process it, no, then the writing would become visible, such as yung mga ginagamit sa mga passing information that is secretive, something like that. So they are included under the definition of the so-called document. And lastly, I think that this is the most important one, is that it must have a meaning. No? Not necessarily to every person who will read it. No? Hindi naman yun yung kanyang qualification. As long as it is or it has a meaning, no, to somebody, na kung saan siya yung recipient ng document. Say for example, it may look or it may appear like just a careless scribble. No? Kumbaga, sulat-sulat lang siyang ganyang wala naman siyang pakahulugan habang tinitignan mo. But for the person who receives such writing or such document, it conveys meaning to him. Then that will still be considered as a document. Now, I always ask, no, sa loob ng klase, whether, let's say for example, a scribble in a wall, no, yung sulat doon sa wall, would you consider that as a document? Halimbawa is merong naglagay dyan ng death threat sa'yo, no, sinulat niya sa pader ng kwarto mo, no, or ng bahay mo, no, or any other physical object therein. Like for example, it could be in your appliances, no. It could be in your in the headboard of your bed, no, parang mga ganun. I always ask them if are they going to consider that still as a form of document, no? So before we would answer that, of course, you try to revisit the definition of document. It doesn't mention there specifically that the writing should be put into a paper, no? Hindi lang sa papel. That the term document is not only limited to those writings that are put into a certain paper. It may be any object. Kasi sabi nga, di ba, any material that contains writing. So therefore, no, even if it was written on a wall, no, on appliances, on other object other than paper, considered pa rin siya as document as long as pasok tayo doon sa meron siyang writing, then it is visible, partially visible or invisible, and it conveys meaning to somebody, no? So kahit saan siya nakasulat, nakalagay, that will still be considered as a document as far as the definition for the word document is concerned. Okay? Now, let's talk about question document. No? So we know already what is a document, right? Alam na natin kung ano yung document. Bakit mahalagang alam natin kung ano yung document? Para alam natin kung ano yung limitation na pwedeng pag-aralan under question document examination. No? So, since the term document is so inclusive of all materials that contains writing, therefore, lahat din ng mga ito is saklaw or sakop or pwedeng sakopin ni question document examination as long as there is writing. No? Now, question document refers to any document about which some issues has been raised or placed under scrutiny. No? So, a document is not necessarily considered as a question document automatically. No? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, oh, this is a document. No? Are you going to consider that already as a question document? No, not yet. No? The only moment that a document will be considered as a question document is if there are some issues, no, that has been raised onto that certain type of document. Say for example, my driver's license. No, yung driver's license ko. Is this considered as a will this be considered as a question document immediately? No. No? It is a document, but it's not a question document yet. However, if let's say for example that they question the authenticity of my driver's license, like they have an assumption that this is fake, no? Peke ito, no, na gawa-gawa ko lang itong driver's license ko, then that is the time that this piece of document, my driver's license, will be now considered as a question document. Kasi meron siyang or meron ng pagdududa no, doon sa aking pinapakita na document. Your ID, no, your ID is not a question document. However, if some issues are being raised from that ID, from that document, then it will become now a question document. No? Usually, ano-ano yung mga issues na tinatalakay natin when it comes to question document. So, a certain document may be questioned on these following grounds. Number one, authenticity. No? Tunay ba yung dokumento na yan? So, some of this, no, like for example, yung sinabi ko kanina, which is I'm talking about my driver's license, no? So if they question the authenticity of this, then that's an issue, no, which could make my document, my driver's license, as a question document. So for example, your diploma, no? Ngayon, you're applying for a job, no, and you presented them a diploma, and they question whether or not your diploma is indeed authentic or fake, no? So nagkaroon na siya ng issue based on its authenticity, no? Magiging yung diploma mo will now be considered as a question document. Identity is also included, no? Usually it talks about the identity of the owner or the author of such document, no? Let's say signature, we're talking about signature halimbawa, no? So if the question or if the issue raised was with regards to who owns that signature, kanino yung signature na yan, no, na nandyan sa document, then definitely that is the issue on identity, the identity of the author, no? Therefore, the document being questioned as to the identity of the author or of the signature therein will now make that document a question document. Also, origin, no? The origin of the document. Let's say, for example, I'm showing you a document that allegedly came from a prestigious university, no? Halimbawa, yan, pinapakita ko, I'm a graduate of this prestigious university. So it's being questioned whether or not that document really originated or came from that university. Was it really released from that university? Something like that. So it's now being questioned based on to its origin, kung saan siya nagmula. No? Kung totoo nga ba na this office, no, or yung school nito had released a document like that I'm showing right now. So parang ganun, no? For example, yan, barangay clearance. So let's say for example, I need to show a barangay clearance. So I falsified, no? Gumawa ako ng peking barangay clearance and I'm showing that to you now, no? And sabi mo, well, we need to verify whether this barangay really issued you a barangay clearance. So they're going to question, no, not only the authenticity but rather the origin, no, yung pinanggalingan ng document na yan. And they have ways, of course, to find that out, no? But most likely, origin are being questioned with regards to historical documents. And lastly, we have also the relationship of the parts of the document to the other. Like for example, now we have here an alleged ancient document, no? Halimbawa, lumang-luma na to. You're claiming that this document is already 100 years old. So we are going to examine whether or not your claim is indeed true, no? By comparing the different parts of the document, such as, for example, no, the paper, no? The paper. Kung sinabi mo 100 years old na yung papel, then it should goes also, I mean, if you claim that 100 years old na yung document na yan, then dapat lahat ng aspeto ng document na yan is actually can be considered as 100 years old na rin. Like for example, the ink, no? The paper, the manner of handwriting, no? Yun yung mga titignang issue. Dapat relative sila sa bawat isa. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng i-claim, no, or magiging issue na ngayon, halimbawa, kapag sinabi mo that this document is 100 years old already but the paper seems very new or the ink that was used is very new. So, yun yung mga issues natin with regards to such manner. Or, it could be like the content of the document itself. No? Let's say, we have here a check, no? Cheque. Ngayon, uso pa kasi noon yung handwritten pa yung mga amount, kung kanino ibibigay yung cheque, yung pangalan, something like that. No? So let's say for example that you have put there in writing that the amount written on the check was amounting to 10,000 pesos. No? Diba, pag nagsusulat ka ng cheque, you need to put the numbers and you need to put the amount in words, no, and in letters. Ngayon, somebody had added 0, no, to the number which was written on the check. So, instead of 10,000 pesos, naging 100,000 pesos na kasi somebody altered the content. Ngayon, we need to examine the relation between the numbers, no, written, the amount, no, numbers, the amount written on numbers and the amount written on words. No? And let's look, no, alin dito yung binago. Is it the numbers or is it the letters? No? But definitely, that is already considered as a question document because it is being questioned now based on the relation of the content to the other part of the document. Okay? So, those are some. No? Ito yung mga iba or, yeah, some instances wherein a document may be put into question when it is being questioned regarding its to its authenticity, no, identity, origin, or the relation between the different parts of the document, no, either the writing materials or even the content, no, yung content mismo ng document na yan. Okay? Next, let's talk about question document examination. So what is question document examination? No? So, question document examination simply refers to the examination of documents in order to establish the following. Diba, I made mention what are the issues or what are the reasons that a document may be put into question. Now, with regards to question document examination, we are going to establish whether the issues on the document being put into question is indeed either it's true or is it false, no? So the examination of documents usually establish the following. It establishes the authenticity of the document, no? It establishes the identity of the author or the writer. It establishes the origin of the document and many other aspects of question document examination. Question document examination is not limited only in examining papers and so on. Kasi in one document alone, there are several issues or a lot of issues that could be put into question, no? Kapag tinignan mo ang isang papel, you're not just looking about one problem there. You are actually looking at the many possibilities that this document have possess, no? One or more issues therein. No, it could be that the signature is being put into question, no? That's one aspect of question document examination. It could be the paper that is being put into question, no? That is another field, no? Of question document examination. I was not able to include yung different fields dito, no? Pero sinasabi ko na marami, no? We have computer document examination also. We have typewriting examination, document examination, handwriting, signature, and many other fields, no? So question document examination is very inclusive of several other fields of interest in terms of document. Kasi point here is that when we talk about document, we are not just talking about one issue thereat. Now, hindi lang isang issue. There could be several issues that may arise, no, that needed, no, a specific field to study about it, no. For example, the year, no. Ang question sa isang document is whether or not the claimed, no, age of the document is indeed true or not. So that's another field. Ibang field yan. Pero still, part pa rin siya ng question document examination. Okay? Next. As we have stated, we have at least, we have very broad category with regards to question document examination. Sobrang lawak kasi, no, ng saklaw ng question document examination that we could actually not come up with the perfect, no, with the perfect division, with the perfect subdivision with regards to the different things that are transpiring on the document examination. But we have here at least two, no? But ito ay very very rough approximation or rough classification with regards to the different examinations being conducted at the question document. No? So first is we have criminalistic examination. So the focus of criminalistic examination is most likely on detection of forgeries, no, yung mga pangongopya, panggagaya, no, alterations, yung may binago doon sa part ng document na yan, or even obliteration, may inobliterate, no, may binura na totally doon sa documents na yan. Pero basta ang issues natin is with regards to the commission of crime usually, no, then that would fall under criminalistic examination that involves lahat na yan, computerized, even money, no. We could also since yung art is also considered as a document, no. So pwedeng kasali na rin sa criminalistic examination yung art forgery examination, no, things like that. So they are all under criminalistic examination. But so when we are talking generally about forgeries, alteration, obliteration, erasures, no, if yun yung issue sa document na yan, then our examination will fall under the so-called criminalistic examination, no. Now, if we are concerned with regards to handwriting, no, we have also the subcategory handwriting examination, which are focused on unraveling, no, determining the identity of the author of such documents, such as, for example, signature examination, things like that, no. We have meron pa yung tinatawag nating graphology, no, pero graphology most likely is considered a pseudoscience because it's more like a psychological aspect of document examination or handwriting examination. Well, where they are trying to come up with the uh, personality of one person basing on the examination of his handwriting. Pero still, no, we can consider that as part of the handwriting examination na tinatawag. No? Ang focus ng handwriting examination is that they are trying to identify, no, or determine who is the author of that document, of that handwriting, of that signature, things like that. So that is handwriting examination. No? So, I'm not saying that this is the perfect category with regards to question document examination, pero ito yung pinaka-simplistic kasi, no? Simplistic category that we can come up with, no, in terms of the different fields or in terms of the different activities that are transpiring within the field of question document examination. Either you will conduct criminalistic examination or you will conduct handwriting examination. Okay? Now, you know, the concept of question document examination is actually accepted, no, in court as an evidence, no. Unlike other criminalistic subjects, no, isa ito doon sa ina-accept na form of evidence in the court, no? Kasi we have polygraphy, which is medyo 50-50 pa ang mga korte natin whether they will accept it or not, no, and some other field of like for example odontology, mga ganon. So questionable pa yung mga yun as to its capability to really establish whether or not capability to establish the identity and things like that, no. For question document examination, actually majority of the court, no, or actually lahat naman ng korte accepts the result of a question document examination as an evidence. Why? Because of course we already convinced, no, the scientific community that the process of question document examination is indeed scientific. So with that, let us present to you the scientific method of question document examination. This is simplified, no, but we have the so-called ACE-V method. Now, what is the ACE-V method? ACE-V method pertains to the analysis, comparison, evaluation, and verification process conducted in order to come up with a conclusion, whether a certain documents, whether a question document and the standard, meets with each other. Kumbaga magkaparehas siya. So that is done scientifically, hindi siya hinuhulaan lamang. There is a scientific process from it, and we can actually illustrate that through the so-called analysis, comparison, and evaluation method. And lastly, we have the verification process. So what's going on under the analysis? When you are presented with a certain document, pag halimbawa binigyan ka ng isang document to examine, you need to analyze, what are you going to analyze pala? What are you going to analyze? As I've mentioned, there are several issues that could arise in just one document, So the first thing that you should do is to analyze what really is the problem. What's the issue on that document? So binigyan ka ng papel, okay, so you subject this, i-examine mo itong document na to. First is analysis. Anong gagawin mo dyan? You analyze. What's the problem? Is this document being questioned because of its signature? Is this document being questioned because of the writing materials used? Is this document being questioned because of the content of this document? Yun yung mga kailangan mong malaman. At malalaman mo lang yan through the analysis process. That could make your examination much faster kasi you know where the issues are. Alam mo kung ano yung issue. Hindi yung kumbaga you're going to analyze everything from that document. So pag binigay sa yung document, okay, first thing that I will do is that I will try to examine if the paper was how old the paper was, how old the ink was, then next to that I will try to determine whether the content or the content of this are erased, obliterated, or altered, mga ganun. So that's not how you should do it. Okay, the first thing that you should do is determine what are the issues on that document. Okay, So you could actually determine that by asking, no? Kasi the person who submitted you that document for examination would know already what he would want to know, no? Kasi kung binigay ko yung document na yan, then sabi ko sa pakitignan mo nga if the signature of this is authentic. Yan. So, you could focus only on the signature because yun yung issue. No, you don't need to examine the entirety of the document because you're wasting your time. No, kasi hindi naman yun yung issue. No, although you can do that if you have a lot of time, but then as far as our laboratories are concerned, no, and as far as our justice processes are concerned, kailangan mabilisan ang proseso so that, no, to simplify the process, no, you need first establish what are the issues on that so that you can directly go into that examination. Okay, that's on the part of analysis. Now, second phase is the comparison. Ngayon, if let's say for example you need to determine whether the signature on that document is authentic or not, what do you need? Ano yung kailangan mo? Of course, you need to have a point of comparison, no? Kailangan mo magkaroon ng point of comparison, which means you need to have a standard. No, a standard, it refers to those known writing or signature of one person. So, I presented you, for example, a document. No? Binigyan kita ng document. I want you to examine whether the signature of that is genuine or not. Before you can be able to come up with the conclusion, you need to have first a standard. No? You need to have first a copy of the genuine signature. Ano yung itsura ng totoong signature ng taong ito? No? Ng taong nakapirma accordingly dito. No? So that you can compare. You cannot just do some examination, no? Especially with regards to handwriting and with regards to signature and handwriting without point of comparison. So that's why you need to collect a standard first, no? And if you have the standards already, that's when you will do a comparison. You will do a comparison between the alleged fraudulent signature and the known signature. And with that, you can safely come up with a conclusion based on your observation doon sa comparison na ginawa mo. Next to that, if you have comparison already, you can make up, pwede ka nang mag-come up ng conclusion, no? But then, first, you need to evaluate everything, no? You need to evaluate whether your observation on the comparison method or on the comparison process is indeed valid, no? So tignan mo, you refer on to the different principles used in question document examination kasi marami tayong mga principles din dito, no? Kailangan mong bisitahin yung mga principles that are being applied in question document examination if it does indeed support, no, the conclusion that you made based on your comparison, no? So that's other evaluation. If you had made your conclusion already after comparing the document, you need to evaluate whether your conclusion is valid, no, is scientific or so, based on the existing principle applied in question document examination. Okay? So if you have evaluated already, you are still convinced that these documents are genuine, no? Then lastly, you need to verify. No? You need to verify just for the purpose, of course, of either solidifying your conclusion, no, that you made during the first two process, no, on comparison and evaluation. You need to verify based on the existing rules on question document examination, no. If you could actually make, no, a second-hand opinion, maybe if you could consult other expert in the field just to verify whether your conclusion is correct or wrong, no, then you could do so. As long as you have done or satisfied the so-called the process of verification, wherein you are going to reassess whether the process that you made was correct, no, the comparison and the conclusion that you made, no, is indeed correct, and the evaluation that you made on the document or the result of the findings of question document examination is indeed correct, no. So that's under verification process. Now, with this, we can conclude that the conduct of question document examination is indeed very scientific. Therefore, the likelihood that the document or the result of question document examination will be considered as will be wrong is so slim, no? Maliit na lang yung chance na masabi natin na pwedeng nagkamali si document examiner sa kanyang conclusion because of the total process that we are following that is considered as a scientific method. However, we are not saying that the result of question document examination is always perfect kasi marami itong tinatawag nating human intervention, no? And it's prone of course to human error, no? May mga pagkakamali man dito, most likely it's more human error kasi nga the one who decides whether two writings or two documents are genuine or not, no, will definitely be the examiner himself. So the how do you call this, the reliability of the result of question document examination is indeed very reliant to the expertise of the examiner who conduct the examination. Okay, then lastly, last topic that we are going to cover will be the classes of question documents. So there are a lot of types of question documents kasi alam niyo naman yung point, no, or issues where a document will be put into question. So marami yan, no? However, for the sake of the discussion, we are just going to discuss some of the types of question documents. So we have here first, no, a document that has, or a document with the question signature. That is indeed a question document. So anyway, karamihan naman ngayon, no, especially in cases of corruption, malversation, fraud, they involve document with the question signature, no? A document could be authentic, however, the question could be the signature could be either a result of forgery and so on. So, yan yung mga document with question signature, no? We have a lot, no? Pwede na nga rin reseta, no? Simple things like that, no? Transaction receipt, no? Or clearances, mga ganun. So these are all documents that are prone to forgery na tinatawag, no? Yung kinokopya o pinipeke yung mga signatures nila, no? Karamihan ng mga question documents are fall onto this category. Usually what is being questioned is the signature. Now, we have also yung tinatawag na rin documents with questioned, with no, alteration, obliteration, or erasure. No? So, for legal documents, sa mga legal documents, and once there is alteration, ibig sabihin may binago doon sa content ng or part ng document na yan, that definitely deserves to be questioned. No? For example, nagpapakita ka sa akin ng accordingly is deed of sale natin, no? Deed of sale natin. Ang pinapakita mo doon is binenta mo yung lupa o yung sasakyan mo sa akin ng halagang 10,000 pesos, no? Parang ganon. So if it appears that there are parts of the document that has been altered, let's say binawasan o binura yung isang zero kaya naging 10,000 instead of 100,000, binura niya yung isang zero kaya naging 10,000 na lang, that's alteration, no? Alteration because it alters the content of the document, no? Obliteration is when you remove, no, some part of a document beyond ano na yan, kumbaga yung talagang hindi mo mabasa or inalis mo yung isang part ng document na yan. For example, where may kasunduan kayo doon, may conditions kumbaga doon sa kasunduan nyo na yun, inobliterate yung binura niya totally, that's obliteration. And erasures is that like you remove just one part of the document but it not necessarily alter the entirety of the document, but meron pa rin siyang erasures na tinatawag, no? So we have holograph document. Ang holograph documents, guys, ito yung mga kumbaga ginawa ng isang tao, no? Either that is in the form of last will and testament, in the form of affidavit, no, in the form of declaration, mga ganon, that is without the intervention of a witness or without the intervention of a lawyer, no, things like that. So ito yung mga document na ni-execute ng isang tao na siya lang mag-isa yung gumagawa, no? So usually pag halimbawa gagawa ka ng affidavit mo. Gagawa ka ng declaration mo, no, on your part. Like let's say for example that in the form of last will and testament, di ba? Gagawa ako ng huling habilin ko, no? The process that is that bago maging valid yan, it's supposed to have been witnessed, no, by somebody. No, dapat may naka-witness na ginagawa mo yan. Or it could be, or it should be witnessed by a lawyer, no, na siya naman yung authenticate nito, na siya yung magpapatunay na totoo nga na si Mr. Pedro ay nagsulat ng ganitong dokumento na kung saan is dito nakabase kung ano yung gagawin sa kanyang mga ari-arian once na siya ay pumanaw na. So, well, there are those individuals who don't want to be witness. Ayaw nilang may maka-witness kasi either it's so private, no? Ayaw nilang makita ng ibang tao, or it will come as a surprise. Yun yung mga holograph documents, no? And when that is considered as holograph documents, it should be first question. It should be first question. Why? Kasi, since there are no witness that will prove or that will, support the authenticity of that document, then how can we be able to surely come up with the conclusion that that document is indeed authentic? Di ba? Parang, halimbawa, namatay na yung lolo't lola mo. Then bigla na lang lumilitaw yung isang apo niya or isang anak niya na kung saan pinapakita na may ginawa si nanay na ganito, may ginawa si nanay na testament na kung saan sa akin daw ipapamana lahat yung ari-arian niya, no? Ngayon, first thing you would ask is that tunay ba yan, no? Sinong testigo na nagsulat nga sila lolo't lola ng ganyang dokumento, things like that. So that's holograph document. So now it basta nag-fall siya under holograph document, it needs to be put into question first to determine whether the document being presented is authentic or not. That's usually the case din for suicide notes, di ba? Ang suicide note that is an holograph document kasi when you are writing suicide note, definitely wala ka namang witness diyan na nakakakita ang sinusulat mo yan or whatsoever. So when that will be presented as an evidence to prove that the death was a suicide, we need first to question whether that suicide note really is considered as authentic. No? Ganun. Then we also have documents with questionable age or date. No? Anyway, we don't have any more question naman with regards to that because alam naman na natin kung ano yung pinupunto niyan and we discussed that kanina. Documents with questionable writing materials, no? That's the same thing kasi kanina with regard to age and date, ito naman is writing materials that usually, ano ba yung pinuprove ng writing materials, no? Una is that is still age or date of that certain document. Kasi you cannot claim right now, no, that the document is already 100 years old. But if you're going to look or examine the paper, the writing materials that was used, yung mga meron ngayon, for example, bond paper. I don't think they have bond paper 100 years ago, no? I don't think they have ballpoint pen, or I don't think they have the ink that we have today, the several in 100 years ago. For example, I'm presenting you accordingly the diary of Jose Rizal. But if you examine it, pagtingin mo, no, bagong-bago naman, no? Ang ginamit na tinta was actually pilot, no, things like that. So those are issues that we could actually cite with regards to document with question age or date, or even with regards to the writing materials that were used to produce that document. Okay, so that's the summary discussion that we have, guys, for question document examination. There are more, no? Actually, marami pang kailangan pag-usapan for question document examination, and that will be siguro sa mga succeeding part na ng lecture natin, no? So I hope I was able to impart some knowledge with regards to this subject matter. If you have question with regards to the thing that we discussed, no, feel free to reach me by commenting on the comment section of the video, no, and you may also send me a personal message with regards to this subject. Okay, so that's it, guys, no? Thank you for listening. See you on the next part of our lecture. Bye bye.